Good evening. It's the Friday night edition of the Wall Street Weekly Wrap-Up with your host, John Newquist. March 7th, 2024. And it was a red week. Hence, the red shirt. Unlike Captain Kirk show Star Trek, we are not going to die. We're going to be here forever. Let's get into the mayhem, the bloodshed, the blood on the streets. Okay, the portfolio down 10%. I'm going to talk about history because I've been here forever and I've been through it. We're down 10%. A lot of people are running out the door. They sold everything. We're not going to do that. I did taxes. We sold 14 stocks, I think, last year, which is a record low compared to Big Jim, who sells 30 a year, you know. The big thing, less than a couple $100 for every one of them, 13 or 12 of them. You know, yeah, we made money on 2 of them that were big, but for most of them, you know, it was within 1 or 2% of the investment. You know, we didn't, you know, I don't want to sell. Remember, we ease in maybe a third of the portfolio, like the German one we bought this week, or a tenth of the portfolio. You know, we have a number. You know, if it's a risky stock, we ease in at 10% of what we're going to eventually get to, and then we just add periodically over the time. So yeah, it sounds bad. It looks bad, and you know, went up a little bit today, but you know, we are dragging, you know, the S&P 500. That's our numbers here, and I don't want to be behind the S&P 500. That's our benchmark. But a lot of confluence, a lot of things happening, and things can change. So let's go through the worst Nasdaq days, because I've lived through all these days, and let me just move this little picture of me up a little bit higher. There we are. And, you know, we started thinking about it was, you know, 5 years ago, you know, March 16th, coronavirus, 12% drop in a day, 73 deaths. Man, we had a million deaths. Fed cut interest rates to 0. Airlines on the verge of bankrupt. Nobody's traveling, you know. The Nasdaq dropped 12%. That's the worst day of all my life that I've been in doing this stuff. And you'll see how far I go back to 1987. The crash of crashes. You try to sell the stock, the people weren't answering the phone. You couldn't sell. Remember, we didn't have internet. We didn't have anything. You had to call in your order, pay a fee, like $45 to sell stock. $45. Like, sell it all, Mortimer. Can't get in. So you're stuck with it. You watched it collapse, and when it slowed down, by then you're down 40, 50%. You know, this week I'll never forget. The second week of April, we dropped 25%, and this Friday, there's a Friday, because I remember deadly, it dropped 9%. So it was like 4%, 4%, and boom, it fell out. That was the time to get out. When you drop consistently, everybody's bailing, that's the time to get out. I mean, this is .coms. We had too many stocks not making earnings. Too many stocks with negative revenue, good growth, but no money. Remember, we want good growth, money. That's one of our criteria. If anything else I learned from that year, it was that. Again, 2020, you know, March 7th, European travel. Remember, we had COVID. NBA canceled the season after a player had COVID, and I can't remember who it was. Then Tom Hanks had it. So everything, all of a sudden, it's a big deal, you know. And I think it was France had a case of COVID, and then the crash. You know, 2008 crash. It was brutal. They're not going to give a bailout for Lehman Brothers. They're going to let them go bankrupt. You know, Citibank bought another company. I forgot the name of the company. WB. Dow went down 7. Everything was bad. You know, it took us till March 9th, 2009 to come back. Not a good week. Then, of course, 87. We juggled it. I mean, we dropped 11%, then 9%, then 9%. You imagine that? That's 30%. And then Bernanke speaks gloom and doom on the crisis. You know, remember looking at, you know, the whole thing. Irrational exuberance, manufacturing bad, retailers have a bad opening. We went down 9%. Then the long-term capital management crash and the Russian crash, the ruble completely went down, and that dropped it. You know, people sold. I watched Jim Cramer sell everything. That was the bottom. I've been there. This doesn't faze me. We could go down another 20%. I hope not. But we have good stocks. That's what I tell people. Just, you know, if you're not into it, you're easing into it, just stop. Just wait a while. I'm going to probably nibble every week on something, 10% of a position, add a little bit more, because I think it's a good time. I mean, like I said, everybody runs out when they have a fire sale in stocks. I kind of like want to pick and pick and pick. Retail numbers again, remember, you notice this thing, boom, 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 comes in threes. Bad news is retail number, beige book bad, and then of course more on that week of April 2000. I want to say 2000, but 2000. And so, those were the worst days, and I've been through all of them, and I'm still here, and I'm doing good, and that's why you should be too. So, you think it's bad now? This is horrible. This was ulcers. This is where you just walk out the door, go at the restaurant, have a nice dinner, and just try to forget what's happening, because they're melting down, and this is it. We haven't come to a meltdown yet, but let's hope it doesn't go through. Again, our portfolio is down 10%. Our benchmark is the S&P 500, which is -3, so we're 7% already behind it. Nasdaq is in correction territory. It's ugly. So from the highs up we had just a few weeks ago, we're down 10%. Again, this tariff on, tariff off is really tough. Tom Lee, who I always watch from Fundstrat, and puts out his own newsletter for $200 a month or something like that. But he's very good. I mean, he's been right on some things. We didn't get 50% small caps. And what is small caps at? Oh, -4, the worst of all the indexes. Bitcoin didn't get 150, and of course Bitcoin's been up there. But he says the 10 best days on Bitcoin, that was the run. You can't be in it. You can be out. You can't be on the date. Same thing. He went to S&P 500. If you just took out your 10 best days, the best days it gained in 2024, you're up 20%. You would take those days, you're only up 4% the rest of the time. That's kind of how I look at it. You're trying to time it. Boy, you got to get those 10 days. You got to hit all 10 of those, and I'm going to be in it because I'm going to stay in it. And that's the thing. Now, you just got to put up with this pain. We have good stocks, leaders in their sector. It'll get better. I think this nonsense could go on until June. It could be an ugly 6 months. So, just be prepared that it could be ugly.
This is a reminder. Bitcoin. If you finish this, just let me know you're done. Otherwise, I'll remind you in an hour.
Alexa, stop. I'll remind you in an hour. Okay. Well, we talked about Bitcoin is going down. Alexa, what is the price of Bitcoin? Alexa, what's the price of Bitcoin?
One Bitcoin is worth $86,650
remember?
down
I got
3.7% over the last 24 hours.
Like 82 up to 95, back down. Wow, a lot of heartburn. Again, cryptocurrency is 3.1% of our portfolio. I never really added it all up. Probably a lot more, lower now because it's gone down quite a bit. You just got to remember, Bitcoin is and crypto is got its life as its own. The indicators, look at the interest rates. Wow. Everything's great except if we bulk lumber, these home builders are like saying that's going to add a few more thousands and thousands to the houses. It's good for some people, but the interest rates are low. But man, you can't be out there. So what's going to buy is the houses like me. You got a 50-year-old house and it's at the average price of the market. If it comes up for sale, it's going to be nabbed quick because the interest rates are now getting lower now, point where people will jump at it. Crude is below 70. That's good. And Saudi Arabia, I thought was very interesting, going to increase production. They're going to lower it. And again, there's a lot of pressure to make Russia get down and see what happens when Russia has $50 in oil. Will their economy collapse at $50 in oil? Or will they settle for peace in the Ukraine? It's interesting. A lot of high-stake games being played out there. Natural gas, it's been a cold month. I paid over $200 for my natural gas bill because it was cold. I mean, it was like every day in February it was below freezing. We were like 15 days below freezing. Didn't ever get above 32. So, I said, well, you're going to stay warm or you're going to not. You pay it. So, and then gold coming up again toward 3,000 and silver is at 32. I got to sit with my friend and go through his collection of his dad's estate. And he had a lot of silver. And I tell him, okay, 30 years ago, silver was about $5 because I was buying $5 silver along with Warren Buffett. And now it's at $30. You did 6 times your money. It's 30 years. That's not so bad. That's really actually good. And if you hold this, you go up to now 30 times 6 is $180 an ounce 30 years from now. Maybe, maybe not. It runs every generation. So, I mean, I have a 5% in the metals. You should too. Physical metals. Own the metals. Don't own promises. Just own the metal. Because if it ever collapses, then you could buy things with the metal. I mean, hopefully we don't get a Great Depression collapse. Copper, wow. Talking about a 25% tariff on copper jumped the price of copper alone. FCX, which I should have put the chart up here. Here's our copper chart. It's up there. Look at this. It's coming back. 1, 2, 3. It's got a little bit more. Can it get above 5? Woo! If this tariff comes through, it'll be above 5. Lot of people watching. Of course, doesn't make home builder fiber optic. I mean, not fiber optic electric cable. You know, has to use copper. So with high prices, becomes a little bit more for some things. NVDA Monday, boy, export control on the H20. That's the Chinese chip, and you know what? This is the problem with these controls. You can't stop technology. They're doing more with us. They'll make their own chip eventually. Maybe it'll even be better than ours. You know, I kind of like let it go. You know, give them a generation. Give them the Grace Hoppers while the Blackwell's rolling out. They'll catch up. They'll do things. We'll watch it. But I don't like these controls because I think it just hurts NVIDIA. It hurts a lot of companies. But NVIDIA sold out this year. U.S. companies are there. So you can make them wait. I just don't like these controls on this stuff. And I know why people are doing it. Well, I got to keep the lead. Where have we heard that before? You know. Taiwan Semiconductor going to promise $165 billion in the investments in the United States. And, you know, they're trying to kind of twist them to get the Intel and see what you can do. They're doing a lot of testing in the Intel foundries and stuff and see if they're, you know, can use it or not. You know, I mean, there's not exactly mix and match these foundries. You know, Taiwan Semiconductor has their preferable equipment. They would want to use those. So, you know, it's you know, still in an uptrend. One of the few stocks that isn't in an uptrend. But, you know, somebody says, well, you know, look at this. You go back to July, it's lower than it was. You're right. You're right. But again, I think a great company, one of the 3 troikas in the AI chips. Remember, NVIDIA, Taiwan, and ARM. Folgers, no. This is Franklin Templeton, Germany Fund. I'm telling you right here, man, when I heard Monday that the Germans were going to open up the pocketbooks, go into debt, spend the money on defense and industry, get the economy boosted. That's like breaking a 30-year trend. 30-year trend. They've been austerity. I can't remember the last time they sat there and stood. This is a big trend. And when it starts to go, this is going to be momentum for 3 years. So I just said, try to pick the company. I like these Franklin Templeton one. You know, we got the China one, we got the Germany one. I think Germany is going to be a good stock to invest. I mean, there's other ones you can buy, you know, Siemens, and, you know, we have Roche Chemical, you know, out of Germany. I just think it's going to be a sector that's going to be in there. You know, and like when they're going to buy defense, who would have bought a lot of the U.S. products? Germany would have. But no, we got to go tick them off and, you know, insult them. And guess what? They're going to buy from France, they're going to buy from England, they're going to buy from other countries, probably not the U.S. So Lockheed and Raytheon. Oh, you know, got so many things happen that it becomes dilution of the inevitable downcline. AVGO, no, that's Broadcom. I just, you know, used to be BRCM. You know, like, why do you got to change a name? But this is really a blowout earning, 24%. Remember, there's not too many at 20%. So anytime anybody's jumping 20% in revenue growth year to year, and they're good, and they're issuing upside, you got to be in this stock. You know, we had the chance to get it down over here. It's a little bit lower, but Broadcom is on all cylinders. Their chip they used for all the inferences and stuff like that is going to be big. The jobs, they call it disappointing. Unemployment went up. So I guess it's disappointing. Hourly earnings were up. Work a week, 34 hours. I can't imagine working my life 34 hours a week for a year. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I'd probably be doing this, you know. I mean,
This is a reminder.
that's a work
The
week.
tariffs and when will it end, period.
The tariffs, the tariffs,
This is a
the
reminder.
tariffs.
The tariffs and when will it end, period.
You know, it's like the horror movie. It's only tariffs. But you know, the whole thing is that this policy, I think, is going to continue till the end of May. You know, so maybe June. You know, that's why I tell people, maybe if you're easing in, just ease in slowly, and then it should pick up probably by June. It's going to go up. But you know, this on off and off just is a poor, you know, negotiating tactic, because nobody knows what to do, and you just make people mad, and if people get mad, they're not buying you. And you know, like I said, Jack Daniels just laid off 600 people. Why? Because Canada's not going to be drinking the Jack Daniel bourbon. And they say, oh, you know, they drink the crappy Canadian Royal. No, there's Irish whiskey, Scottish whiskey, Japanese whiskey that are all exceptional. You don't have to drink just American. If you've been around a while, you might pay more, but that's who's going to take up the slack, you know. And then of course Hewlett Packard. I thought this was pretty good. You know, I was really surprised. You know, the AI stuff. You know, of course they didn't like it. Look at this drop. Holy schmoly! It dropped like I dropped a penny down in a well. I mean, that's a waterfall drop. And you know, like I said, I'm 4 years, 5 years in the desktop. I need a new one, and you know, I'm kind of hoping for the NVDA, and I want to hopefully go in there. But you know, one thing I learned about NVIDIA stuff, like even on the graphic chips, you either buy it that day or you're not going to get it for a long time. I mean, you know, people are like, well, it's going to come out at 3,000. You might want to try it. I just like, would be nice to have a precedent. You know, it's kind of like buying the iPhone. It's a brand new phone on the first day. Now they'll fix a lot of stuff later. Costco, one of the top retailers. Walmart, Costco. You know, it does good. Of course, I had Amazon in there too. But I mean, look at this. I mean, today it was down. Big sell. Look at that sells. Didn't like it. Why? Because they kind of they missed the year. You know, it said earnings 402, and I think it was supposed to be 410. Big deal. Jeez. Revenues 9% in retail is great. So, you know, here's one of the top stocks, and now you're down, you know, $100 in less than a week. You know, I mean, that's not good. So, you know, if you got going to be nice and generous and start giving us Costco down at, you know, below 900, I'm going to grab it. I mean, it could happen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, when it gets in there, you got to have this list of companies you'd want to buy and add to it. Costco definitely is going to be a company I watch. So, you know, if we go in there and it just gets crazy and people just bail out because they're just scared and take losses. Remember, the herd buys high and sells low. So you just got to remember, if you're in the herd, not good for you usually. Walgreens, you know, one of our stocks we've owned in the last 20 years. I knew when they were shoplifting right and left. Holy smokes, you can't even make money, you know. And you know, look at the 200-day moving average. What is it, 19? You know, this thing was higher than that. It's getting bought out by Sycamore Partners. They're going to take it private. Now, in my town, I go to the Walgreens because they have sales that I like, you know. And I mean, very professional, very nice people. You know, I mean, of course, we don't have everybody walking out with all their product here, but I think, you know, they're going to go in and it'll just be like what Walmart did. Let's look at the stores that aren't making money and close them. That's all you're going to do. You know, move your best people from those stores into other ones, but you got to get a handle on, you know, the theft issue and pricing issue and everything else. I think Boots Alliance, they're going to sell that part off. It's been a disaster since they've been there. It doesn't merge right, even though Boots products are outstanding. I just think the Walgreens Boots just did not work, and time to cut it clear. Let's get back to the fundamentals of a discount grocery store / pharmacy. Flutter, another one. 14.5, not the best you could get, but remember, look at this 200-day moving average. It was way up here. And they're making money. $2.94 a share, 14% growth. So again, Costco and Flutter are on the list of shopping things. You know, I don't need another tech company, but #1 gambling site. Not a bad option to buy, especially when they make money. Remember, they're out of England. hence probably the name Flutter. There's a story there. I just don't know the story. And then CrowdStrike, a darling of the Wall Street stock people in the, remember we got to have security software. And it's been, look at this channel. That's a beautiful channel, beautiful chart until the tech falls off the wheels. And then now it's down. And if we go in here, we're at 460 and it's down 360. So God, what is that? 46, 20, 25%. Woo! It's right at 200-day moving average. It could go lower and 25% revenue. I just think this sector's got to consolidate. There's so many people in there, and so I think it's good. I think it's a, great earner, and I watch it. So I'm putting in these lists because when you buy it, you'll say, well, why'd you buy it? Well, we've been looking at it for a long time. What kind of price would I buy? Well, I doubt it's going to get down to 220, but there's some number around here, maybe 260. I'd buy it. If I used 460 as kind of like a high, you get it at 230. That's half off. That's a pretty good deal for a company with 25% growth. You remember, you get these deals and people just like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait till it goes lower. Well, it doesn't go low, zero. You're not making that kind of money. This is renewable money every year for them. They got a good product, so that's how you got to think about it. Good company. Are they the best in the software? Palo Alto would disagree, other ones would disagree, but it's good, and that's why we're going to watch, because I like this 25% growth. Target, I thought was pretty interesting. Here it kind of flat lines. They're talking about, oh, tariffs are going to raise prices. And remember, it's just not China, Mexico, and Canada. It's the rest of the countries that are going to come in there with reciprocal tariffs. This is the April 1st memo where they're going to go in and announce everything. So, I got to believe April 2nd week could be an ugly week, So we're just going to sit there and just watch, for a lot of nibble on the good ones and add them in there slowly. Best Buy, revenues fell down, online is always eating Best Buy up. But like I said, they beat the revenues and earnings are not bad. It's just that downward trend. I go to Best Buy once a month for little stuff, but they got deals, and that's part of the reason I like Best Buy is that you can go there and if it's like $10 cheaper on a $400 item at Best Buy, and you go to the internet and it could be like $25 cheaper, versus like retail or something, then what's the difference? $10, might as well just get it there. It's good. You got it in a package, take it home, so to hope that the package arrives all right, didn't get stolen, didn't get kicked. Ethereum, I was listening to Vlad talk about the Ethereum. It's a good thing for the market to start out with the tokens. The U.S. crypto fund is just going to take all the ones they've seized, which is millions upon millions of dollars of all these Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're not going to add anything to it. Well, that's now. Everybody was up. You can sit there, and of course Ethereum. Look at this thing. This thing 4,000, 2,000, 4,000, 2,000, 4,000, 3,000. And that's just in a year. If that doesn't give you an ulcer, I don't know what would. I mean, if you're going to buy it when it's hit the low cycle. Will it go lower? Could be. I mean, I was remembering Ethereum not too long ago. It was $900. You're going to give it to me under 1,000, I'm buying a bunch of it.
This is a reminder. When would I buy stocks?
Well, I would tell people.
This is a reminder.
She always have to repeat
when would
herself.
I buy stocks?
You think I'd say repeat that again, Alexa? Oh, by the way, Alexa just sent me a notification. Said I'm going to be intelligent. I'm going to go AI. And do you want notification? I said sure. Now it's free with Prime. We're all excited that I can see this being much more interactive. But I just show the other tokens, because I can look at them instantaneously. Solana, you can see everybody thought they were going to get added. Chainlink, Polkadot, and you can just see that announcement when they said no, we're just going to take the ones we got. Most of them went down, and you can see these charts all kind of like sad downclines in the last moments of history, as I call it. So this is, you can see this. I call it the ugly smile, then down. And this is all the charts over the last year. This goes March to March. We look at the industrials, finally getting back to our original 12, and we only got 2 of them. We're not overweight on them.
This is a reminder. Time to buy when you're new.
Oh, well.
This is a reminder. Time to buy when you're new.
You know, one of the things I can see the thing about Robinhood, and I got to look at it more. You can go out, we have Coca-Cola, and you could buy $3 of Coca-Cola. And that's what people do. They take their $50, and if they're trying to follow me and we got like 40 stocks, they're putting in like $1 or $2 in each one of those stocks. And they get to watch it grow. And you know, when it was, you don't think much, but you know, let's say you got like $600 at the beginning of the year and you went up 30%, you have a 780. That's real $180 money, you know, you see. And you can see people liking that. And so I can see it. But, you know, like I said, the industrials, we're trying to avoid the ones where tariffs could hit or they're related to government contracts, i.e. Lockheed, you know, General Dynamics, Raytheon, because we don't know. That's a lot of uncertainty, you know. And again, I watch the automobiles, you know, okay, Tesla 2.1, Toyota 2.9, good. Ford 4, Volkswagen under Honda up a little bit. And of course, Rivian lighting it up but not making money. So, you know, we got a lot of good stocks out there. And I think, like I said, the automobile is the real industry. And if they're getting hit with the tariffs in Mexico, which they're delayed another month, then they'll look at it again. We'll see. I mean, I'm not sure what the solution is, you know. I just heard a UAW guy. I don't know if he represents the whole thing, but he says, bring them on. Let the tariffs go. We'll buy American cars. Make it punishable. That ain't going to happen with Volkswagens made in the United States. Ain't going to happen with all these other companies made in the United States. They're low price already, and you're going to jack up the American companies. They ain't going to buy those cars. They're going to go right to Toyota and Honda and all these other ones and buy those companies. So, I don't know. You know, it's a tough industry, and that's why I don't want to be in it. Alexa, what was the price of Ford? Alexa. Of course, she wanted to tell me. Alexa, what's the price of Ford?
When the market closed, Ford Motor Company traded at $9.90 on the New York Stock Exchange,
$9.90.
up 3% since previous close.
Well, it went up a little bit, but you know, it was $24 I can remember. You know, so painful climb. All right, let's get on 2 ones we own that I call industrial. You know, industrial, they make a product. So Coca-Cola, you know, look at this. It's pretty good. You know, dividends good. PE's a little high, but that's okay. I mean, this is, you know, slow increase. It's not bad. A lot of people are kind of wishing they had more of this, but remember, number 1. Remember, best in breed. Number 1 drink is Coke. And then, of course, Hormel, which I spelled wrong, HRL. I had Honda on my mind, and Honda's HMC, so I typed it wrong. Again, you're going to eat the meat. They got turkey and they got beef, and it's, you know, you're going to eat. Beef prices have come down quite a bit. Big drop in it. So, you know, I think Hormel will do all right. It'll be steady, 3.38 dividend. So, you know, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's more safer than the other ones. Are they going to lose imports? Well, remember, most of the stuff is going to be from here. Yeah, they ship Spam everywhere. But I think, you know, it'll be okay. And that's what I want to not be underweight industrials, you know. Because we go back up here and you look at it. There's a lot of positives still. A lot of 3.1s, 1.6, 6.9. Not double-digit growth, but it's a good sign for the United States. And, of course, the heat map for this week is like, oh, do you own Walmart? Yeah. Do we own Tesla? No, thank God. Tesla went down 10%. Amazon down 6%. Google, for some reason, wanted to go up. Meta's down. NVIDIA's down. Microsoft's down. Apple's down. I mean, just a swath of red. What's, besides Google, like literally the only tech up here of, you know, kind of significance. And then, you know, even the oil companies were down this week. So just an ugly, I mean, it was just a broad-based sell. You know, you didn't really see much. You saw Lilly finally take a hit, but the rest of the pharmaceuticals and healthcare picked it up. So, been a tough week. We'll get through it. Hopefully, I won't have a red shirt on again next week. We'll see you next week. You know, like I said, we're going to make it to June. Once we're in June, we're going to be pretty good. I'll see you next week. Stay warm, and I'll have a good week. Bye.